Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be talking about variable valve timing tuning within our Motec M1 programming. Now, this training module is going to be doing an overview of our variable valve timing. The next training module, we're actually going to be doing a live demonstration of how to work with and tune the variable valve timing, and we're going to be doing that on a Honda K-Series engine. This training module, we're just going to go over the setup and configuration, understanding what variable valve timing actually represents if it's something that you're not familiar with already. So what we'll find here is that we have two dedicated page layouts for inlet variable valve timing tunings, or inlet cam, and exhaust cam variable valve tuning. Depending on which your engine is equipped with, you might have both on your engine. So an example of an inlet cam control variable valve timing would be something like a Honda K-Series engine or a Mitsubishi Evolution 9 engine. If we're talking about both intake and exhaust variable valve timing equipped engines, that's going to be a Mitsubishi Evolution 10 engine, or a Subaru EJ25 engine, or might also be a Ford Coyote engine. So we have a lot of different engines that have variable valve timing. Most modern engines have some form of variable valve timing. And we definitely want to take advantage of this because we can see an increase in engine efficiency and torque and horsepower. We can just see a much broader power band by implementing variable valve timing control. So we want to understand mechanically what's going on, fundamentally what's going on, understanding the setup and configuration details, and then we'll put it all together in the next training module doing the actual demonstration on a Honda K24 engine. So first thing I want to do here is move from my startup page that I'm clicked on right now under our tuning area here, and I want to move across into inlet cam VVT and exhaust VVT tuning. This is going to be where we do the variable valve timing tuning. Now, the way this system is going to work is pretty simple. So we're just going to focus right now on talking about our intake cam VVT. We'll brush briefly on our exhaust VVT tuning in this training module as well, but we're going to be spending the majority of our time in here. So when we're talking about our intake or inlet cam VVT or variable valve timing, what we're going to find is we have the ability to rotate our cam's movement dynamically as the engine is running. By going in and twisting the cam, either advanced or more retarded, so we can move either direction, we are able to control the overlap. The overlap's where we have both the intake and exhaust valves open at the same time. If we can dynamically control that, we'll find that we get greater cylinder filling in our mid to low engine speeds. And as we get up into our high engine speeds, we can reduce the overlap and actually take advantage of a little bit less cylinder filling, where we might have some exhaust pressure starting to push back into our inlet valve and getting into the combustion chamber, which is not ideal. And in that situation, we can actually lose some power. So by dynamically controlling our overlap or the rotation of our cam as the engine is running, we have effectively increased our overall power band. Now, the way this is going to work is going to be an oil pressure driven system. That means there's going to be oil pressure galleys within the block and the cylinder head. They're going to be feeding oil pressure from the bottom end of the block, and it's going to be coming up into a control solenoid. The control solenoid is essentially going to allow more or less oil flow to go into the camshaft, which is typically hollow, and then force its way into the variable cam gear. As we change the amount of flow and pressure that goes into the gear, that'll rotate that cam dynamically, either advancing it or retarding it. So we're moving it around, and what we're doing is manipulating the flow and the pressure of oil into that cam gear through an oil control solenoid. So it's a fairly simple system the way it works, and it's been around for quite some time, and it is very reliable. So what we're going to do here is take a look at the setup and configuration down here on our setup window, talk about things that we have to have configured down here. Then we'll talk about what this intake cam target here is going to represent in the system, what the feed forward value is going to represent, and then we have a proportional, integral, and derivative gain. So it's a PID based system, and it has to have some type of a closed loop control and feedback here in order to maintain at the desired target, which was we program. It comes from our table right here. So let's jump in here to our setup and talk about a few things. When we're talking about variable valve timing control, typical variable valve timing engines will have, if we're controlling on our inlet cam, they're typically going to have on the exhaust cam a position sensor, which is used as the home or the sync, or engine synchronization as Motec calls it, And then the intake cam, if we're doing intake cam control, it'll have its own position sensor that's tracking the movement of the cam as we're commanding and allowing the engine to go to different variable cam targets. So we have to have a position sensor, and then we also have to have an output that's going to pulse width modulate control, the oil control solenoid that's changing the amount of flow and pressure that's going up through the cylinder head into the camshaft and then into the cam gear to allow it to rotate, to move back and forth, advance and retard in its position. So we have an output we have to configure, we have an input we have to configure. Let's go and take a look at this. So first thing, under our setup window here, we're gonna have an inlet, and then we'll have camshaft, and then we find first we have our aim table. Now the aim table is exactly what we find up here, so we don't need to worry about doing anything with this right now. What I would recommend to do here is grab the entire table, whatever's values populated in the table, go ahead and just zero it out so we don't have to worry about any variable cam control right now in the target.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.